What's up, everybody? Welcome to the annual Adam Rank mock draft with a twist. This is not a predictive piece. Instead, what I like to do in this opportunity that I have with you is to speak directly to the teams to tell them what they should do. It's a little bit different. And last year, I told the Philadelphia Eagles to take Justin Jefferson. And did they listen? They did not. How did that work out for them? Not very well. But at the same time, I also told the Chargers not to draft Justin Herbert. So let's not get too crazy about that. And I'm going to let's not worry about the small things, but let's take an opportunity to just talk about what we should be doing with these picks. Sorry, I'm looking at my monitor right now, getting the comments up and running. So hopefully those will start populating pretty soon. I hope we all are live on YouTube. Usually it pops up. But anyways, thank you. And without further ado, let's just dispense with the chit chat and let's talk a little bit about what these teams should do. And obviously at number one, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who've been on the clock for quite some time. And I think that it just goes without saying that they should end up just taking, they should be taking Trevor Lawrence with the number one overall selection. I didn't want to tell them to trade the pick or try to be smart and do something like that. But at the same time, like, it's pretty obvious they're going to be taking, there it is, Garrett Talks is with us. So now I know that we're live. What's up, Garrett? I do think that it's important for them to take Trevor Lawrence. Like, I don't want to spend too much time. This is the easiest decision that the Khan family has had to make since they brought in Chris Jericho for AEW. So I think that this is a pretty automatic selection. Let's not waste too much time on it. Let's not waste too much time on number two as well, because the Jets are expected to take Zack Wilson. I don't know where this reporting is coming from. This is one of the things that, I kind of miss with being in the building, going out and being able to listen to some of the insiders talk about this. It's funny. I remember a couple of years ago, they kept talking and, I'm not going to call out who it was, but there are some people who I work with who were very convinced that the Bears were going to take Mitch Trubisky, and I didn't want to hear it, and I didn't want to listen to him, and I'm like, I don't know. So it feels like people are plugged in, and it seems like Zack Wilson is the choice. And of course, I wrote this piece for NFL.com about a month ago, and I explained why the Jets should trade Sam Darnold and move on. I'm not sure that they took my advice. I shouldn't take full credit for it, but I think it was the right decision for all parties involved. Sam Darnold's going to get an opportunity in Carolina. The Jets can go with their guy, which we assume is going to be Zack Wilson. All right, Josh is with us. And this is the thing. This is why I bring up this Mitch Trubisky story, is because I know the 49er fans, let me see if I can move my notes here. Okay, I get where all the 49er fans are coming from. And every time back in 2018, 2017, whatever it was, whenever there was a mock draft that had the Bears selecting Mitch Trubisky, I stopped reading it. I'm like, nope, I'm not listening to this. Like, we're not doing this. We're not taking Mitch Trubisky. I'll take Christian McCaffrey. Actually, I had a reaction video that night saying, like, we would have been better off with McCaffrey. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the comments. It's on this YouTube page. The guys were like, McCaffrey sucks. He's not going to make it. I'm like, okay, guys, how does that feel? Somebody was right about McCaffrey. But in any event, I feel for the 49ers because Mac Jones is the person that a lot of people believe the 49ers are going to be drafting. I don't know if it's lazy. I wrote this in my piece. I did say, listen, Kyle Shanahan had his best years with Matt Ryan and vice versa. So it makes sense. But I can't stop watching Justin Fields going up and down the field against Clemson and be like, why are we not picking this guy? Now, you don't want to, I know you don't want to put too much stock in one bowl game. Jamarcus Russell had a great bowl game against Notre Dame, and that didn't work out. But I don't think that this is not an apt comparison at all. And Justin Fields, I think, checks all the boxes. And if I'm advising, so right here, I'm telling the 49ers, take the quarterback that you want. This is exactly what I wrote. Take the quarterback you want, whomever that might be. 49er fans are getting mad at me because I had slugged in Mac Jones. And I'm like, I said take whomever. I'm sorry that I made you read an entire paragraph and have to go to the to that, go to the last sentence to realize, take the quarterback that you want. I think it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know. Just take who you want. Burlissimo's here. If Kyle Shanahan made it, yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. Burlissimo, and for anybody who's listening to us as the audio podcast, and of course, you can listen to us on iHeart Media, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Google, whatever. And whatever you use. We do a live stream. We don't do that cold. That cold open was just for you on the podcast. So listen, there is something bonus. But Burlissimo's here in the live chat talking about Mac Jones fitting it. Listen, Kyle Shanahan's making this decision. I trust Kyle Shanahan to make the proper decision and to take the quarterback that he feels is going to be the best for his system. Now, I know everybody out there who's a fan wants to sit there and be like, well, this is like, are you really second guessing Kyle Shanahan? If you take Mac Jones, you should be lock stop with your guy, Kyle Shanahan, because he's the one making the decision. I don't think that you know more than Kyle Shanahan. So why don't you just trust the process? Like for me, I think I could have some reservations. When Ryan Pace and John Fox were making the decision on Mitch Trubisky, I felt justified in questioning whether they were making the right call or not. I think that Kyle Shanahan has done enough to warrant the respect that he deserves for whoever he's going to pick at the quarterback position. Be it, let's just say it's Mac Jones. All right? Don't get mad at me, 49er fans. He knows more than us. Let's just live with it. I think where the draft really is going to get interesting is at pick number 4 with the Atlanta Falcons. There's a couple of scenarios that could work out here. First, you could trade this pick to a team that needs a quarterback, especially if Justin Fields is still on the board. Even if Mac Jones is still on the board, there's still going to be Trey Lance is still going to be on the board. So there's still going to be some movement. And you know what? People are going to need to know, like, hey, okay, you can move up for a quarterback. If they want to move down, it makes a lot of sense. I think the Falcons could definitely move down. There's teams that need a quarterback. The Bears, obviously, the Patriots, the Packers. I said Packers. Listen, they did it last year. Motivate Aaron Rodgers again. It's a formula that worked out well for you. Packers, trade up for number 4. Take Justin Fields. Do it. You never know. You want to be safe. You're not playing to win this year anyway, so who cares? You're playing to win in 2024 or whatever your thing is. Josh liked that joke, by the way. But here's the thing. Okay, so I'm saying Falcons, if I were you, and you don't want a quarterback, and you certainly could. And Matt Ryan, and I saw this on Twitter, and I'm sorry to the young man who tweeted this, that I would love to give him the proper credit for it, but he talked about Matt Ryan being one of the most overlooked and unappreciated quarterbacks of the last decade. He does have an MVP award to his name, but at the same time, he is kind of overlooked. He's never considered one of the top elite, one of the Top Gun guys. Like, if you're watching Top Gun, he's not Maverick, he's not Ice, but he's one of the guys in the room. But you never really talk about him. I don't think he has a speaking role. I think Kelly McGillis walks by him for a moment. And for Josh and Burlissimo, this was a movie from the 80s that you've never heard of. Top Gun. It was really good. I think they remade it or they're doing a sequel or something. You can get back onto it. But Josh, I'm going to recommend it you. And Garrett has never heard of this movie. So you guys go check out Top Gun if you get a chance. It's fun. In any event, Matt Ryan is never really considered one of the top quarterbacks, so it's weird. I think, he's getting older, but what we've seen recently is that these quarterbacks have been playing into their 40s, or at least approaching their 40s. I do believe that Matt Ryan could have a couple of good years left, 2, 3. So you're in an interesting position of like, well, you're probably not going to be this high again, but at the same time, if you've got a quarterback who's good, and let's say you don't trade down, let's say you're going to stick with Matt Ryan. Maybe Arthur Smith comes in and says, no, I would like a mobile quarterback, but at the same time, Matt Ryan is Matt Ryan. We're going to hang on to him. I say you go with Kyle Pitts, and I think that this is a no-brainer to me. If you've decided that Matt Ryan is your quarterback, and if you're not going to trade out of this spot, Kyle Pitts is such an easy call. You got Julio, you got Calvin Ridley. You're going to need a running back, which you could get at the top of round 2. There is no way that I pass Kyle Pitts in this spot. I think you had Tony Gonzalez, the end of Tony Gonzalez. Like, It's like if you went to see Metallica today, and of course they would still put on a really good show, but you weren't seeing Cliff Burton Metallica. Well, Kyle Pitts is Cliff Burton Metallica at the tight end position. That's an automatic pick for me. She's lost it. All right. I just want to look. Talk to me because, okay, it's so funny. I'm looking at the live stream. I apologize for anybody who's watching us on YouTube and not listening to us audio. I'm looking at I've got a cool setup today so I could kind of see the comments as they roll in. I love that these kids are now trying to prove, like, I've heard of Top Gun. Like, my dad loved that movie, Rank. Okay, I get it. Listen. So let's move on to, goodness gracious, where's my cursor? No, so number 5. So the Bengals, and I would say this too. If I'm the Bengals, and I know that a lot of people are going to be talking about the offensive line position. And by the way, the Bengals uniforms, amazing. I like the new Bengals uniforms. My favorite look that they have, white jersey, black pants. Usually I like an all white uniform, and that's good too. I think the Bengals should just exclusively wear white. If you're on the road, wear the black pants. If you're at home, wear the white pants. Anyways, a lot of people are saying that it's an automatic decision for them to take a lineman. And of course, they need the protection for Joe Burrow. It should be a priority. I understand all of that. If a quarterback goes at number 4, if the Falcons take a quarterback, if they trade out of the spot, if the Patriots or the Bears move up there, or the Packers move up there, and if Kyle Pitts is available at number 5, I say the Bengals take him. That's the only pass catcher I would take in this spot. Otherwise, I would take Sewell, Penny Sewell from Oregon, the assumed can't miss tackle prospect. You got to protect Joe Burrow. Here's the good news. And this is the one thing that I say to anybody because whenever I suggest them taking Kyle Pitts, a lot of people are like, well, you got to protect Joe Burrow. And I'm like, yeah, they have picks in the 2nd and 3rd and you have other picks in the draft. You're going to be able to go out there and pick some linemen. I think that some of the guys that you'll be able to get in the 2nd and 3rd round will end up coming in and being starters for you. So I'm not super concerned. Obviously, if Pitts is gone, take Sewell here. Again, this feels like kind of an automatic pick for me. So I really like that one a lot. And again, the thing about if Pitts is still there, he would be the Travis Kelce. He would be Burrow's Travis Kelce. Why would you not want that? I know that they have some decent pass catchers. They got Auden Tate, so why would they even need a receiver? No, they got T. Higgins, obviously, and Tyler Boyd, who's obviously overlooked in a lot of circles. You put Kyle Pitts in that mix, that's good, but they might not have that decision. And I say they take the. So it's funny because I'm sorry. I'm looking at all the, plugged in, Jay, the fantasy plug. Well, yeah, Jay, you and I are the same age. Garrett Talks is not our same age. Josh is not our same age. Burlissimo, I have no idea. I don't know if he's an old man like us or not. But in any event, but I'm seeing a lot of people saying Pitts or Jamar Chase going to this spot. So let's move to the Dolphins at number 6, where I have Jamar Chase going. And I know the Hollywood movie would be to try to pair up one of the Alabama pass catchers with Tua Tagovailoa. We're not going to do that here. Chase is clearly the top receiver in this draft. And they need a lot of playmakers on offense. Now, obviously, the Dolphin fans we don't need play. We got Devonta Parker. You're like, please stop it with this. You got Will Fuller, which is great. And I think that what we've seen in the NFL is that you need a stable of running backs. This isn't you're not Paul Heyman, where Paul Heyman's cool just having Roman Reigns. You don't need a whole legion of boom. You don't need the, oh God, what was that? What was that stable? What was the stable with oh my God, what was Heyman's stable in WCW where you had Stunning Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko? Gosh, Jay, help me out. Why can't I think of it? But in any event, you need a stable of pass catchers. Jamar Chase, to me, is clearly a cut above. Even the Alabama guys, who I love, who we'll talk about here in a moment. I just say, listen, you got to go out there and get yourself a Dangerous Alliance. I got that. I didn't get that. So whenever you guys chime in, I got Dangerous Alliance. You did not get it. Where's my cursor? But in any event, get to us some things. So we'll go Jamar Chase there. I hope somebody is writing this down. Actually, you can go to NFL. Oh, you know what? My picks are a little bit updated. But we'll post some stuff up here later. Detroit Detroit. Is it Detroit? Detroit? Chase to Miami. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys have been calling. Yeah, like, listen. Wow, Berlissimo says that Jamar Chase is greater than Justin Jefferson, and that kid was pretty good. You know what? I don't hate that. I think Jamar Chase, yeah, I think he's special. You know, one of the things that I really love about him, too, is, yeah, I don't know that his route runnings is crisp or anything like that, but that guy goes out there and just wins all the battles. That's what you want. You can throw the ball deep. He's going to go out there. He runs through the ball. He wins the 50-50 balls. He is amazing. So if he goes 7, so the way that this has worked out, by the way, and again, these are suggestions. This is who I'm suggesting. We had Mac Jones going to the 49ers. We had the Falcons not trading out at number 4. So that means that Justin Fields is still on the board. And this is a wild scenario. And this is my this is not a prediction. Okay? This is merely a suggestion. And the suggestion being, if the Detroit Lions have an opportunity to draft Justin Fields, they need to make that pick. This is a suggestion. I'm not predicting that this is going to happen, but this is a suggestion. And I know you just traded for Jared Goff, and a quarterback who's regressed the last couple of years with Sean McVay. Okay. Maybe Goff can go out there and thrive with Tony Lynn as the offensive coordinator. Of course, Tony Lynn was the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers when Justin Herbert had his amazing breakout season. And I can see the chat. I can't read what the chat, I can just see that the chat's popping because people are talking about this. Again, like if he's there, I know that Justin Fields could go 4. I know the 49ers could take him at number 3. I'm just saying that if Justin Fields is available at 7, the Lions should take him, or at least convince the Broncos to trade up with you. Either one of those, that would be my 2 suggestions. Of course, if you're sitting there, if Justin Fields is gone, I'm not sure that Mac Jones would be, I don't know. I don't know that that's a perfect fit for you guys. Maybe you would go with one of the Alabama wide receivers right here or something like that. But drop hints that you want to take him, because if you could get the Broncos to move up, you can slide back and kind of start addressing your defensive secondary or some of the, because a lot of defensive players are going to be falling, especially the way that I'm breaking this out. And it's so offensive heavy right now that it's crazy. And a lot of people, okay, cool. All right, cool. People are pace traded. Yeah. I don't know if the Lions would trade. The Lions are stupid, so maybe they would. I don't mean that in a bad way, but mind you, I do think though, yeah, pace, somebody would trade up, could trade up or anything. But if I'm the Lions, I'm like, if I'm the Lions, I would just want them. I mean, I don't know. That's my thing. All right. That means number 8 is the Carolina Panthers, who are not going to be taking a quarterback. I really do believe you're going to give Sam Darnold an opportunity here to win a job. You don't want to bring him. I mean, you still have Teddy Bridgewater, who could be moved at some point, but you don't want to have a room with Sam Darnold, a rookie, possibly Teddy Bridgewater. You got your quarterback. I think Sam Darnold can win at this league. We've talked about this. If you go on this channel, I have a video out about Sam Darnold and what I think of him as a player, so I won't spend too much time. What I would do here is try to get the Broncos to switch spots with you, get them to move up to take Trey Lance. I think that and obviously he could be the guy who ends up going to the 49ers. Again, these are merely suggestions. The thing is, there's going to be a quarterback available likely in this spot. And if there is, I would get somebody like the Denver Broncos, the Patriots, the Bears once again to move up here, kind of, flip a spot. You would be flipping one spot with the Denver Broncos, but here's a scenario that I'd be talking about. Let's say the Broncos jump up to number 8. They take Trey Lance, who, by the way, Daniel Jeremiah has Trey Lance ahead of Justin Fields. So, maybe, you would get one of those 2 quarterbacks. In any event, let the Broncos go there and take their quarterback. Sorry, Drew Lock. Sorry about your luck. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Washington. I'm sorry. Good call, Garrett. Washington is also a team that could be moving up for a quarterback. And anybody who's just joining us here on YouTube, don't listen to the podcast, I did have a couple of words about Alex Smith. It's on the podcast. It's part of the Cold Open. You can check that out wherever you download podcasts. Hopefully you've downloaded the Adam Rank podcast. I would appreciate that. So let's say that there's a quarterback going right here to any number of teams. That means, let's just say for this scenario, we'll just to make it easy, we'll put the Panthers at number 9. Let's say they flop spots with the Broncos, just to make this a little bit easier. Because obviously the Broncos need to move up. You got to get a quarterback. And it's like, you guys just cannot get the quarterback position right. I don't know what it is. I feel like, if you're Elway, and there's a sentiment amongst some people that Elway's the greatest quarterback of all time, it's got to be so frustrating that you cannot get this position correct. I mean, you were going to let Brock Osweiler go through the playoffs during that Super Bowl 50 year, although I do believe that the problem with that too is if you were in the playoffs and you got behind, Peyton Manning was in no shape to rally a team. Now, he could direct something. If you had a lead, he could hold on to it for you. He was in no shape to lead and really the Patriots, I'm still pissed the Patriots didn't beat. God, if the Patriots would have won Super Bowl 50, the world would be a lot better. But in any event, sorry, Brandon. But in any event, let's say that the Carolina Panthers stay here. I would say Patrick Surtain is the pick at this spot. The Panthers do have a need at the cornerback position. So, and even honestly, even if the Broncos stay here, let's say the Broncos don't get a quarterback, you miss out on trade. Like somebody jumps up. Let's say the Washington jumps up, grabs Trey Lance. Now you guys don't have an opportunity at a quarterback. Patrick Surtain would still be my pick, for the Broncos or for the Carolina Panthers, who could obviously use a cornerback too after they lost James Bradbury last year. I really do believe that they could go to the cornerback position. Surtain is that good. For the Broncos, number 1, I know you signed Kyle Fuller to a 1-year deal, but I think when you're in the AFC West and you're in a division that has Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, and Derek Carr is a good quarterback too, you probably need a bevy of cornerbacks. So if the Broncos miss out on a quarterback, go for the cornerback. I'll spit that out. Don't worry about me. I think it goes there. And you know what? The thing that's the most disappointing, at least for Cowboys fans, as they sit here at number 10, is that I think a lot of Cowboys fans have just kind of assumed that Patrick Surtain is going to be there available to you, I should say. He could obviously go at number 7 if the Lions don't want a quarterback. Again, this is why I like doing suggestions, because I don't want to pin myself into one thing, because there's a lot of moving parts, and we always see this on draft night. We don't know who's moving up to what spot and what kind of twists and turns this could take. It's like watching Big Brother, expect the unexpected. So I would expect, if I'm the Cowboys at number 10, I would not expect Patrick Surtain to be there at number 10. And if you want him, you might have to jump up and get involved. And now you're competing against these teams that are bidding on quarterbacks. I think it's a huge thing. And what are we saying? Pitts at 10. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Kyle Pitts at 10. Not happening. There is no chance of that. No, because if he got to Carolina's not going to pass on Kyle Pitts. Like, that to me is the drop-off point. I don't even know that I know that the Broncos have Noah Fant. Like, I'm not even sure that Kyle Pitts would get past them. So they got KJ Hamler. They got a lot of good guys. But anyway, in any event, Kyle Pitts, I don't think is going to get past the Panthers. I would be shocked if that happened. So at number 10, God, that would be awful if the Cowboys got him. But Rashaan Slater is a player I'm looking at. Now, obviously, Surtain is the guy that you would obviously 100% want. You need to improve defensively. But if he's off the board, I would actually like to look at another position that has become a needy one for the Cowboys, because for years it's just been commonplace that the Cowboys' offensive line is amazing. It's the bedrock of their offense. Everything goes through that. Now, obviously, they've had some injuries and some retirement. It really is time to start looking at that position. And again, I know the Cowboys fans, when I posted this piece, when I posted this piece on NFL.com, Cowboy fans were irate. Like, why would we go offensive lineman? And I'm like, I don't know. Have you not watched your team? Like, that's exactly what you need to do, is go with the offensive lineman. Start rebuilding that spot. Surtain, my top pick, no matter what. But if you have an opportunity to rebuild the offensive line, I would go with Rashaan Slater. That moves on to number 11, New York Giants. Jalen Waddle would be my pick here. I know that you got Kenny Golladay, Kyle Rudolph, and I believe John Ross. Oh my God, you guys have John Ross? Forget what I said. You don't need Jalen Ross. No, I'm just kidding. It's John Ross. Is he playing offense? Is he playing defense? John Ross. I really hope John Ross becomes a good NFL player. I want to see him 5 years from now and just be of the mind of like, hey, remember when John Ross was getting injured every year and all this stuff? But in any event, Jalen Waddle is a player that I would pick in this spot because even though you've added some talent here, you got to do everything possible to see what you have in Danny Dimes. Like, this is the year where you're going to figure out whether this guy is a player or not. And if you've decided that if you come to the conclusion at the end of the season that he's not the player, that he's not the quarterback that you think he's going to be, well, then you should just go out there and have your next quarterback surrounded by a lot of available talent. And of course, Jalen Waddle to me kind of seems like a Tyreek Hill type. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Eagles, number 12. There are no wrong answers in this situation because if the Giants go defense and you take the receiver that you want. Last year, you took Jalen Reagor against my recommendation of Justin Jefferson. And by the way, some kid on Instagram was like, you never said that. And I posted in my story the other day. I might post it again. I got the Justin Herbert thing wrong. Allow me the opportunity to take my victory lap on Justin Jefferson. By the way, you kids on the social media, I say plenty of dumb stuff for you to roast me for. To start coming after me for one of the things I actually got right? That's not cool. Give me my victory laps. There's plenty of dumb things. I mean, you guys are still like George Kittle still roasting me for 3-13. There's plenty of dumb shit that I've said. Find it. Don't find the good stuff and try to twist my words. But in any event, it seems obvious that the Eagles have to go wide receiver here. You're going to go with Jalen Hurts. Do not take it. There's not going to be a quarterback available for you anyway. Go with Jalen Hurts. Go with Devonta Smith. If Jalen Waddle's gone, I don't know. Both of these guys are pretty equal to me. There's another guy who I absolutely love. We'll talk about him in a moment. I'm going to move on to number 13, Los Angeles Chargers. And again, because I was so wrong about Justin Herbert, you guys don't have to listen to me. You guys are fine. You guys know what you're doing. I'm going to let you pick the guy that you want. I know a lot of people are going to say offensive line, which is obviously a need. I think it's going to be important to make sure that Justin Herbert is going to be protected. Cornerback is another good one too. J.C. Cobb is a guy. You had to J.C. So there's some options at cornerback. There's some options on the offensive line. Again, I think you can address offensive line a little bit later. You did grab a couple of nice pieces too in free agency to kind of help rebuild the offensive line. I would actually look at somebody like Gregory Rousseau. And I know that you look at the pass rush and don't think of it as a huge glaring need for the Chargers. And maybe they could go out and look at somebody else a little bit later in the draft as well, which is fine. Again, merely a suggestion, not a prediction. If I was running the board and if the Cowboys do end up taking the tackle, I would probably just end up going with I know Rousseau is kind of a green prospect, but I think putting him opposite of Joey Bosa would be a lot of help. Melvin Ingram, of course, is not going to be around. So I think I think it's a bigger need than a lot of Charger fans are trying to put out there. Again, you're in a division with Patrick Mahomes, a good offense with the Las Vegas Raiders. Who knows what Denver's going to end up doing eventually. But to me, I don't know. I think anytime you can I just draft somebody on the line. How about that? Take it at that. If you want to go offensive line, that's fine. But I think that with Joey Bosa, Rousseau, it's kind of an Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd type of thing. I know that Donald and Bosa don't really play the same position. Whatever. The Vikings are another team that I think could actually use a pass rusher as well. And Kwity Paye, is somebody that, we see mocked to the Vikings a lot. I think that the Vikings have to go pass rush, the defense for so long. Like we get so stuck in our ways because we just, the Cowboys offensive line is great. That Vikings defense is great, but really they've started to deteriorate over the last couple of years. And for me, The Vikings have done, I know they could probably use some other, the Vikings have a lot of needs. I know their fans don't want to believe it. And I told them last year that the Vikings were not going to the playoffs. They did not listen to me, called me an idiot, and they said that I was stupid, whatever Vikings fans like to say about me. I'm telling you right now, if you get an opportunity to go pass rusher, you do it here and get that in the right direction. At number 15, New England, a team that, of course, will be looking to possibly moving up in the draft to take a quarterback. Of course, they signed Cam Newton to a, was it 1-year deal? Whatever. Cam Newton is returning. We kind of see him as the bridge quarterback, but maybe they're content with going with Cam Newton. Perhaps they could go offensive line. I think that J.C. Horn, what did I say? J.C. Carroll, the former Utah State guy. Was I saying that earlier? If I did, I apologize. J.C. Horn. Because the Patriots spent a lot of money this offseason. They were like a person with a gift card that had an expiration date. Like when you, like Kohl's gives you Kohl's cash. Gosh, dang it. My nose, my allergies. Sorry, St. Anna wins. Anybody watching this, like, why is Rank constantly going after his nose? I don't know. The wind has been bothering me. But in any event, the Patriots spent a lot of money. It's like, but like I was saying, Kohl's cash, where it's like expire, like it's the day, like I always find it the day it's expiring. So you got to go online and you got like a $10 Kohl's cash. You're like, I might as well get some socks or something. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to get you to spend more money. Like, oh, you'll find something that's, $16. Although I don't think there's anything in the entire, you can't find anything in Kohl's that costs more than $16 anyways. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll buy this. Well, I got $10. I'll also get this, and whatever. That's what the Patriots were like. We're just throwing around money. And for Nelson Aguilar, it's ridiculous. Sorry, people are helping me with they're giving me allergy recommendations. I really love this. I do think that go for the cornerback position. This has been one of the things that Bill Belichick has loved over his entirety of his career, is just making sure the cornerback position is ready to go and locked in. And if you cannot trade up to get a quarterback, get a cornerback. And I think J.C. Horn is going to be somebody who's going to be a great value at number 15. So number 16 is the Arizona Cardinals. I've got Aaliyah Vera Tucker, the guard from the University of Southern California. And I see what Arizona's doing. They brought in A.J. Green, and A.J. Green, like, okay, that would have been fun 5 years ago. But I will say that the last time the Arizona Cardinals brought in a former Bengal who was assumed to be on his last legs, Carson Palmer, he went out there and played pretty well. And I think what you need out of A.J. Green is like what you've been getting out of Larry Fitzgerald out of the last couple of years. I don't think it's terrible. And by the way, I know James Coe hated that the Cardinals social media team was like, hey, who do you double? Like, they're kids. All right. They're 22-year-olds. They're kids. They're happy to have an NFL gig. They're probably not getting paid a lot of money. Let them do what they're going to do. But I do think Vera Tucker is probably the right spot for here. And I hate that, I know some people are like, well, they could use some skill guys. And I always hate that offensive linemen aren't like referred to as skill players. Like, you don't think that stopping Aaron Donald's is skill? But that's exactly why I would be looking that direction. You got to beat the Rams and you got to stop Aaron Donald. So you got to be protected, especially in the middle of the offensive line. I think Vera Tucker is an excellent pick here. It's not like, everybody else is getting a quarterback. Listen, you got Kyler a couple of years ago. We saw your coach hanging out in his Scottsdale estate looking like a G a couple of years ago. Cliff just hanging out, sipping an old fashioned in what looked like Dean Martin's old home. He's fine. Take your offensive lineman. Raiders, a lot of things. Okay. I don't want to take Brandon. Oh, my guy, Brandon. He had such a great joke. Like, maybe this is the year that the Raiders don't take a third round talent in the first round. And sorry that I stole that. I hate when people repeat jokes. Like, Brandon's hilarious. In any event, I think Micah Parsons makes a lot of sense for the Raiders right here. It's not a perfect need, or whatever, but that's what the Raiders do that. They kind of, do their own thing, obviously. But Parsons is a guy who checks a lot of boxes with what he can do on defense. He does a number of things quite well. One of the things he really does well is coverage and covering tight ends. And I'm not suggesting that you go out there and draft one player just to keep Travis Kelce from running around buck naked in the end zone when you're trying to win a game. I'm kind of suggesting that. Like, even if Parsons only plays well in 2 games and it's shutting down Travis Kelce, it would be worth the first round pick. And of course, that leads us to number 18, the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to go with Azeez Ojulari. And here's my thing. Now, you got your fun piece. You got your receiver at number 6. And you need to find some difference makers on the other side of the football. Brian Flores is building a great team there. And there's so many picks. And so you got a lot of options here. I like Azeez a little bit more than a guy like Jalen Phillips. I know that Jalen Phillips would be like kind of the like, hey, he played for the Hurricanes. Here he comes. He can go play for the Dolphins. How awesome. He doesn't have to switch. He's just switching locker rooms. That stuff is always fun. But I do remember his time at UCLA, and it was marred by injuries and stuff. And again, you know what? It's Chip Kelly. I don't know. Like, a Chip Kelly injury is a lot different than other injuries. If you kind of get what I mean, like I always explain this to you. When you play for a terrible coach or a terrible team, there's different levels of injuries. Like there's different levels of hangovers. There's a hangover that you're like, oh, your kid's having their 3rd birthday party. Like, yeah, dude, I'm not feeling well. Not going to be able to make it. While that same illness, if somebody's like, hey, you know what? I got a tea time for Big Rec this week. Oh, yeah, I'm in. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, I'll be right there. I'll go pound some water. I'll be ready to go. So that, I don't know. So I don't want to ding him too much, but I think Azeez, I really like his upside. Obviously, he's undersized, and that's his big knock. That to me, anytime that you see a player who is just fantastic, but the knock against is like, but he's too, I don't care. And the Dolphins, like, this is the thing. This is a Brian Flores Belichick thing, is players like this come in and excel. Washington, FT. I really like this pick. And I got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I know that they're good defensively, and Washington has other needs. But you did sign Fitzmagic. You got Curtis Samuel, so you can probably afford a luxury pick on the defense. Obviously, I would suggest you guys try to trade up, try to get one of those quarterbacks, especially if Justin Fields falls. If Justin Fields is available at 7, I think you got to do everything in your power to try to get up there. I would say the same thing to the Chicago Bears. But if you stay in this spot, one of the things I like about Jeremiah is he does a lot of things. Like, he's a will linebacker. He's a safety. He's a good cover guy. If you got a defense that's already, I think, one of the best in the league, you got Chase Young last year, I think you drop him in and we're seeing this more and more. These guys, it didn't really work out well with Isaiah last year in Arizona, but that's okay. But you find these guys who just play a variety of different roles. I think that can end up being very good. I think Washington is very close. And I think that as they are right now, you take some of these luxury picks. I don't know. Listen, it's not a need, but you go out there and you do it anyways. All right, number 20, Bears. What's up, Berlissimo? Let's talk about this. The Bears are going to need some offensive line protection for eventually having Russell Wilson. So that, I think that we got to say that first. No, in any event, if the Bears don't trade up for a quarterback at this point, I really do believe they need to trade down, because what you're going to be doing is looking for help on the offensive line, looking to get younger. And Berlissimo, forgive me, I know it wasn't your mock draft. There was a mock draft that some kid did over the weekend, which I really liked, where they traded down, stayed in the first round, traded down to about 31 or so. Yeah, traded down with Kansas City or whatever. Like if Kansas City wanted to trade up for Christian Darrisaw or something like that, that's okay. Like, you could take them yourself, but if you could get a multitude of picks, I would definitely take a look at that. I like Darius. I think Darisaw is one of those guys who's getting a lot of buzz right now. And you see it like I think I think it's a lot of draft hype. I really do. I don't know. I'm not the best judge of offensive linemen, so don't necessarily believe me. Trade down all day. Yeah, a lot of the Bears fans are weighing in here. Everybody wants to trade down. I still think that Darisaw is enough of a risk that if a team like Kansas City wanted to jump up for him, I think you make that move. And then at number 21, the Indianapolis Colts, you made the move for Carson Wentz. You didn't have to give up a first rounder, which was huge, so you kept that pick. I think that Kadarius Toney is probably the guy that you want to go with right here. Actually, no. No, actually, I like Elijah Moore a little bit, but what am I saying? I like Elijah Moore. I don't know if Elijah Moore is perfect because you have Paris Campbell, but I don't think that you could have too many. I think Elijah Moore is the better receiver. He's more exciting to me. So why don't we switch this? I'm going to go Colts. I'm going to go Elijah Moore. You take him. You brought back T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman. If Paris Campbell ever gets healthy, Nyheim Hines is there. But your team is good. I mean, you could also start, stocking up on some defensive players. I wouldn't have a huge problem with that. But I think that anytime you can get playmakers, and again, you're in a similar situation to teams like the Carolina Panthers, to the teams like the New York Giants, you want to just start surrounding your team, your quarterback, your iffy quarterback with as much offensive talent as possible. So I like Elijah Moore, which means that I would have Toney go to the Tennessee Titans. Again, Indianapolis could go a number of different ways. Like if Indianapolis wanted to go out and address, just take one of the best defenders on the board. If you wanted to take Caleb Farley, or if you wanted to take any one of these guys we'll be talking about here in a moment, I'm fine with that. But I still want to get Carson Wentz as much help as possible. T.Y. Hilton's not getting any. No. You got to take Elijah Moore. Tennessee Titans, you can take Toney. A.J. Brown is a stud, and obviously there's no doubt about that. But Corey Davis is gone. Jonnu Smith is gone. They're going to need some help there at the wide receiver position. If I'm the Jets at 23, the temptation for you guys would also be to jump in on some of these offensive skill players that are still available to you. But I would go with Caleb Farley here. Again, I know it's weird that I'm going to be advocating you take a guy who misses pro day because he had a back injury or anything like that. This guy is a stud. And I think this is one of those value picks. And he's somebody who could end up falling in this draft because of his injury thing. And this is one of the things I'd watch out for if I was the Bears as well. If the Bears can move back, and if Caleb Farley falls to them, I would move off offensive line and really take a look at Caleb Farley. Because I think, again, he is the most likely to drop. Like, it would be very similar to Jalen Johnson last year, who lasted a good ways into the second round. So Caleb Farley, this might actually be somebody that the Bears have to keep an eye on, because we all love mocking him super high. But these teams, once they get in that war room, they start getting a little jittery. So look out. And Jalen Phillips, I think, is a pass rusher I would set to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know you already have TJ Watt, and it doesn't seem like a team need. I don't know. Your team sucks. You need a lot of things. So you might as well go back to good defense, get some pass rushers, and get some help for TJ Watt so he doesn't have to go out there and do it all himself. All right, Jacksonville at number 25. I would go with safety Trayvon Mooring. This is one of the picks that you get for Jalen Ramsey. And while it would make a lot of sense to go at the cornerback position, if Farley, of course, is gone, then, of course, I say, of course, way too much. You're going to miss out on him. But I think Mooring's the best safety prospect here. And to me, it's kind of a low-key great move that a lot of people overlook. But once you make it and he starts playing, you'll be like, oh, he'll be like the Darby Allin of the Jags. And that'll be the last AEW reference that I make for Jacksonville. If you're the Cleveland Browns, I say you go with Greg Newsome Jr. At the cornerback position. The Browns had such a great offseason. There's a lot of different ways that you could go. I would just, and I had them taking a pass rusher at this spot, but you got Clowney. I know you let go of Richardson. But for me, you just take the best player available. And Greg Newsome Jr., It's somebody that I would consider if I was the Jags, but if he's available for the Cleveland Browns, you're in such a great position. Just take the best player there. You have no needs. You're fine. Don't take a kicker though, but best player. Ravens. You sign Sammy Watkins, you're good. Your receiver needs are gone. Sammy Watkins. You know what? The Ravens have done pretty well. Anquan Bolden did well for them. Steve Smith was great for them. You could probably go wide. You guys don't draft wide. You guys just don't draft wide receivers well. Yeah, you don't want you draft receivers like the Bears draft quarterbacks. It's not good. Anytime you're like, oh, don't draft somebody that I like. Oh my goodness. But I think Orlando Brown is still on your roster. I don't know. You need some help on the offensive line. Jalen Mayfield, who I think is a great prospect, is somebody that I would slug in right here. I think he would come in, even if I don't think you're going to hold on to Orlando Brown. He could move draft night or something like that, but somebody I would take a look at. I think offensive line's the best way that you could go. The Saints, you know what? You always draft super late in drafts. I hate that I repeat words in the same sentence. You always pick late in the first round, and yet you always end up with these great players. Jamin Davis. I'm calling him Jammin', so shut up. This is, I think if Davis fell to you at this spot, it would be unbelievable because obviously Alex Anzalone is now a member of the Detroit Lions. And I mean, you let him leave. Well, you didn't let him leave. Like you leave. That's a business of football. It really is the only need that you have in this entire draft. And if Davis was available to you at this point, yeah, it'd be pretty good. It's always a steal. Like, I don't know how it is. The Saints are just one of those teams that they just always end up, you look at their picks, you're like, how'd they end up with this player? Like every time. It's amazing. At 29, the Green Bay Packers, I'm going to say you take Kyle Trask here. No, I'm kidding. No. Nothing like that. No. No quarterbacks. I know that it's now become a source of pride for you to not take a wide receiver, so don't do that. Stick with Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard and all the dudes that you've got. Bob Tunyon, like you guys are fine. You do need to go after a lineman. Tevin Jenkins is probably the highest rated lineman on the board at this point. And, we saw what happened last year when you guys lost your lineman that you've been using the excuse for. Like I love the Packers. I love their fans. Like they're always like, hey, we lost Bakhtiari, excuse me. Like that cost us. I'm like, did you not see that Aaron Donald was basically on a stretcher the whole game? Like the Packer fans lead the NFL in only recognizing their injuries, but not looking at the other teams. Like Aaron Donald was also hurt. So shut up. You were fortunate to win that game. Go watch the tape on that game. I know that everybody wants to make fun of the Packers. And by the way, that wasn't me on Jeopardy. I know everybody wants to make fun of the Packers for constantly losing in NFC championship games. They should have lost to the Rams. I don't think the Packers get enough credit for almost losing to the Rams and Jared Goff. They're not losing to Matt Stafford this year. I'll tell you that right now. But if you take anything, so take your Tevin Jenkins. The one thing I want you to take away from today is the Packers do not get the love for almost losing to the Rams. All right, 30, Buffalo. Oh my gosh. Bills fans, I don't know what happened to us. You know what? Did you notice that the Blue Meanie started making Bills World Order shirts? Where do you think he got that idea? I did that for you. I made the Blue World Order a thing. You guys jumped through tables in the parking lot. I'm sorry, I was the one who had to connect the dots. But you got so pissed at me that I picked you to win 9 games last year, which was so rude. I had you with a winning record. I'll never understand it, Bills fans. I thought we were kin. I thought we were friends. We're not going to be friends because I think you should draft Travis Etienne. Listen, I think at this spot, for whatever lineman you're going to get or anything like that, I don't know. Take a running back who can catch the football. The one thing about taking a running back here is that all you got to do is pick up his fifth-year option. So you're going to have him through the entirety of his good part of his career. Now, he could Le'Veon Bell you at some point. But take the guy. And the best part of Travis Etienne's game is catching the screens. Josh Allen dumping screens off to Travis? You guys got to be kidding me. This is a good pick for you. And I know there's some Zach Moss truthers out there who are not going to love that pick. Number 31, I have Leon Eichenberg of Notre Dame going here. Again, this could be the Chiefs. This could be the Bears who've traded back or anything like that. I think that this is a pretty good spot for him right here. I do know that he's locked into a left tackle, right? He can start it right. No, he's got to start it. What did his coach say? I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind. I've been talking for an hour straight, but in any event, I think Eichenberg goes here to whatever team is still drafting. I don't think it would necessarily be a perfect fit for the Chiefs because they don't need a right tackle. Yeah, so Eichenberg is a right tackle. I know the Chiefs need a left tackle, but he can start at right tackle. It's kind of a depth play. You can move some pieces around. I think at this point, though, this is a pretty good spot for him. Let's move on to 32 because I want to get to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Asante Samuel Jr. This has to happen, right? Asante Samuel Jr. coming to play with Tom Brady. The Buccaneers going 16, 17 and 0. Having Asante Samuel Jr. drop a would-be interception in the Super Bowl to lose. Wouldn't that be the best story in NFL history? Could you imagine? Asante Samuel going to the Bucs going undefeated, and he drops a potential. I'm sorry, that's not even fun. I think Asante Samuel follows me on Twitter. Now I feel like a douche. No. Hey, listen, here's the thing I'll say about the Buccaneers. That's so mean. Can I erase any of that? Mitch? No? Anyways. Nah, leave it in. It's fine. In any event, here's the one thing I love. First of all, the Buccaneers do well with defensive backs who are the sons of former NFL players. But you know what? You got everybody back. It's a luxury pick. I don't know why Asante Samuel Jr. is not being looked higher in this draft. It's a huge shock to me. So in any event, those are my picks. I hope you guys liked it. I do appreciate everybody here. With the comments. I know I let them go for a second. The Colts need a wide receiver. Yeah, we talked ourselves through that. Oh, the Texans. Oh, poor Texans. Yeah, there's a big. Yeah, okay. People don't hate the Travis Etienne pick for the Buffalo Bills. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment, subscribe to this page. Tell your friends. Have your friends come aboard. We do this. Usually Monday or Tuesday. I should be more on point with my schedule. By the way, Tackling Dummies will be here 1 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. That's going to be on James Coe's page. And in any event, thank you guys for checking it out. Make sure you download and subscribe to the Adam Rank podcast, wherever you subscribe to podcasts. Again, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'll be talking to you guys later, and we'll see you real soon.